Hello everyone, how's it going? So today I thought I'd go ahead and show you guys how I actually breed rainbow fish. Now I know there's a couple ways to do it, but this is how I actually do it. Now let me turn you over here. We'll use spawning mops made out of yarn or whatever, and they'll float them at the top or they'll put them down on the bottom to scatter. But what I do is I keep a community tank of rainbow fish. Then I'll pull out a trio. So like these Glossolepis dorothei, these red ones right here, for instance. There's a male, there's a female, and I'll pull out a trio, and this takes multiple tanks. Now I know a lot of people have been talking about the quality of these videos. I think it's on YouTube's side because I know even PewDiePie, who is the top YouTuber, has like 56 million subs, something like that. He still only comes out at 360p and 480p, so I think it has to do with YouTube. And hello everybody in the chat. So what I'll do is I'll take a trio and I'll throw them in a 40-gallon breeder like this, and a lot of times I'll just have moss in it. Like this just has algae, and that works too. So I know my glass is dirty, I'm savage like that, but just haven't had time to clean it up. Needed to make a video for you guys. But what I'll do is I'll put them in there for like 2 weeks and let them do their thing. Sometimes I'll give them a third week. Then I'll pull them out, and out comes, like, not even like a day after, there'll be a bunch of babies, and then they'll start popping up like day after day after day. You'll start getting more and more. But this is what I've got left in one clutch without taking any out of it. And then here's another. Now what will happen is sometimes the babies will grow up faster than some, and those are called runners. So usually if you got time, you'll pull out the runners, the bigger ones, and you'll get more out of it. But since I don't really have time, it's kind of like set them, move them, and I don't really have time to do much with them. But I could get much better yield out of it that way. So pretty much, essentially all it is playing musical fish, which is easy. So you net some fish up, stick them in a tank, net them back, put them back in another tank. Just make sure your tanks are clean, because you don't want to end up putting a breeding trio in a dirty tank and something happening to the community. That would be horrible. But now that I have all these 20 highs, which this is what a lot of these 20 highs are, a lot of you guys know I got some of those rare rainbows, and I really need to breed them and do them justice of keeping them and get them out to the market. That way more people have them and more people can keep them, and they'll be more widely known. And that way, you know, if something ever happens to the environment, we got their back. So what you want to do is you definitely don't want to mix breed any rainbow fish. That is highly looked down on. So like this row, I would just maybe put like breed some in here ideally. Then move them over here, breed them. So then I'll get fry here and fry here. So I can keep stepping over. And then I would throw like the runners, the ones that are getting big, that won't get eaten, into there. That way you can get really high yield out of it. So that's how I breed rainbow fish. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, pretty easy. I think somebody had a real good question in here that was relevant to this. Any tips on fattening and growing up rainbows faster? Now that's the one thing. Some of these rainbow fish species take a long time to breed and raise. And that's why you don't see them that often, is a lot of people don't put the time in for them. And same with like the ponds that the farms use. They mostly breed them out of farms or out of ponds, and they do it over time, like over a year or so. That's why they don't have very many types that they offer you guys, is just because it's a real pain Can't hear you. I have headphones in and it's still hard. Yeah, it could be my hands over by the mic too. But yeah, they definitely take time. As far as fat, live foods definitely help. Black worms, stuff like that. They are all egg scatterers. The only one that I breed kind of differently is the Millennium Orange Rainbows, and that's a mutation. It's a xanthic form, which I talked a little bit about those in the last video. And I use green water for them because the fry are just so finicky. So finicky. And joking, I did get your email about the blue galaris. Blue galaris, my breeding has been halted due to the whole new water system and stuff like that. So I'm still getting, I mean, I've got some, but I've got so many other people waiting on them still. So, I mean, pretty much going to have to get in line or either try to find them elsewhere, which isn't very easy to do. And when I breed the fish too, I have hard water. I have super hard water, like 300 to 400 TDS, high pH, 8.6 plus. And they do great. I know Gary Lange, he does his in like 200 TDS, a little softer, closer to the low 700s. Are there any rainbows that don't interbreed? I don't know. I'm pretty sure Melanitania and Glossolepis can cross, but I'm not 100% sure. Haven't tried it, wouldn't try it. And yeah, it's just highly, highly looked down on because there's so many types of rainbow fish out there, so many beautiful types that you don't really need to go messing with them, and then we lose touch of like the wild natural beauty of that type of fish. Do you like 20 highs more than 20 longs? As far as fish, I like the 20 highs better when breeding out, and as far as shrimp, I like the 20 longs better because the 20 longs give the shrimp more surface area, and then the 20 highs give more range of up and down volume of water for the fish. So it's the same process for dwarf rainbows too. Yes, same process. The dwarf neon praycocks, I have bred thousands of them. I've seen a xanthic form of those as well from breeding so many of them. I was actually breeding them in the dead of winter, negative 40 degrees out, in a heated wooden barrel that I had outside of the front porch. I just put like a trash can lid on top of it. It kept the heat from escaping, and it worked really great. And they were breeding like crazy out in that. But I love the dwarfs. I love rainbow fish. If you guys can't tell that do watch my channel, I've got tons of them. Do you condition the rainbows for breeding in the community tanks? I mean, I just feed them the tetratropical granules. I love black worms. I love those kind of live foods like that. But the only problem is you never know what's going to come in on them, like hydra, flukes, planaria, other stuff, and there are some good sources out there, but it always tends to be a gamble, so I kind of stick with the granules, and I've never had any issues. So they kind of can get conditioned being all together in a community tank, and they'll spawn all day in a community tank too. So you'll see them spawning in there. It's just none of the eggs will actually, well, the eggs may hatch, but most of them get eaten, and then any hatch, then they get eaten too. But you'll see them spawning, so they'll be ready. By the time you put them in a tank by themselves, they're like, alright, we got all this space to ourselves. Let's scatter eggs everywhere. Like, I've seen ridiculous amounts of rainbow fish come out of just doing one go round of musical tanks. Pull the stash. Oh, ha ha. Been thinking about cutting all this, but I know I'll miss it in the winter time. But it ain't fun in the summertime. Okay, do you find if you keep rainbow fry in smaller tank, they don't grow as big as their parents? I'm trying to get the rainbows to get full size as their parents. Yeah, it can take a year plus to really get full size and a good size. So bigger tank definitely helps. More water changes, just because they excrement oil that kind of limits them to their growth within a tank. So the more you change out the water, more it gets that oil out, and the more they'll grow faster. But it still takes them a long time to breed out. Will that CPD method work for rainbow fish? Yeah, that would work too. Like, even if you had some moss, say you didn't want to play musical fish, you could play musical moss or put that moss in a tray and move that around. Thinking about dwarf neons for a 33, I would recommend it. Nice color for them. What about the pseudomugals? Same thing with the pseudomugals. I'll play them, I'll move them like musical fish too. Gotta let the cat out. I'm the doorman for the cat. But yeah, same thing with the pseudomugals. Alright. If you cut your beard off, all your J's are going to come out impregnated and sloppy. It happened to me. Oh, don't cut it. Get a Viking hat. There you go. That's funny. Zeus and Poseidon. The CPD method, I've actually got a video on it. I believe it's in my popular uploads, actually. That'll show you the whole CPD method. It's where you get a cup, throw some moss in it, and then you you let them breed in it, and then you can dump the eggs out. There's a little more to it with like the process of it, but I've got a video of it. I'm finding with my plagues that they are smaller than the parents. I'm trying to avoid that with my Herbert Axelrodi. Yeah, it just takes time. It really does take time. I mean, to get full grown, like that rare rainbow fish tank, which we can go back to, that I was showing you guys here in the beginning, these fish are actually like probably about 2 or 3 years old, and they're nowhere near their full potential yet. They'll get more colorful than they actually are right now. You guys are funny. Are shrimp still going to be on the website tomorrow? No, it's not looking like it. Like, my air conditioner broke on me, and I've got a few other lights that have been going off on me, and just a couple other little things I really need to take care of. Life keeps happening to me. Like, I'm trying to get them up there, but to add shipping on my time schedule right now, I'm waiting for that moment. Trust me, I'll get to it, but I just hate to push it off another week, but I'm going to have to. How many adults do you drop into a 20 high when doing a breeding session? You can do either a pair or you can do a trio. And those usually tend to work better. So, 1 male, 2 females. That way you get more eggs. Or a pair. Not rainbow related, but I have an order of zebra otters coming in soon. I'm going to try them in highlight tank in my sunroom. Turn the green water on and off via UV sterilizer. Now with the autos, you got to remember, they're a lot like plecos. They're pretty much like tiny little pleco cats. And the other issue with having them imported, or if they're coming from a farm, is just beware of bacterial infections. It would almost be pertinent to treat them for bacterial infections off the bat. But the green water will definitely help. I've chased trying to breed autos in green water before. Lucas, do you notice any difference with age in breeding rainbows? I haven't so far. I mean, the older they get, they tend to throw more eggs, to be honest. And they start pretty young. The rainbow tank is what inspired me to keep all the rainbows. Awesome, awesome. What is the easiest rainbow species to breed? In essence, really, they're all pretty easy, because you just take a pair or a trio and you throw them in another tank. Like I said, I've been breeding them in real hard water. Real alkalytic hard water. What's your feeding regimen? I feed them once when the light comes on, and one when the light goes off. And that's it. What is the minimum tank size for school rainbows? I wouldn't keep them in anything under a 20 just because they get decent size. Now I do have like baby millenniums over here that I keep in a 10, but they're younger, which is my blue-red colony too, which is not what I should be doing. That's why I've been having tougher times with keeping some of my shrimp is because I kept throwing fish in there because I was running out of tank room. But now I got all these new tanks, and hopefully that won't be an issue anymore. Yeah, I have some 2-inch barely even sexed rainbows that breed. Yeah, they start pretty young. Alright, I think I pretty much covered it all about rainbow fish. Can pseudomugals eat shrimp? They can eat the babies. I keep them together. I've kept them together, but they will eat shrimp. What type of food for rainbows are your regimen? Do you like veggie flake? No, they want more. Frozen brine shrimp would be better, but still they would need something else than that. I use the Tetra Tropical Color granules, which you guys know I use that for like everything, and it works. High in protein. It's got other vitamins and other stuff. The brine shrimp's not going to have a whole lot of protein. They do like veggies, so planted tanks are great. They're omnivores, so they like vegetables and protein. Thanks, Kala. I think Kala's how you say it, right? The Nano Chick. I'll just call you the Nano Chick. Alright, guys. I appreciate all the questions. I'm glad you guys asked me some, because that's the best way for me to help you guys too on these. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. And until next time, peace.